Nice. All right. So, for everybody on YouTube, we aren't streaming this specific one shot. What we're doing is we are going through that baking contest that Alec was talking about quite a few sessions ago, I think back in session 4. I'm not actually going to be running this session. This one's going to be run entirely by Briar. I'm just going to be playing Elric
Hey.
as if he's a character, and also the bartender. I'm going to play him for a minute. But aside from that, I'm just a player in this session, and we're gonna see what takes place just a little bit after the most recent session. So right after the players are getting done with fighting King Oleron, and they head back to their own reality. So if you're seeing this, just know this is exclusive to YouTube. You're gonna get a little treat.
Yo,
With
a
that
little
being
treaty
said,
treaty.
take it away, Briar.
Anyway, after the group got back from the alternate reality, Shanti's feeling a little bit crazed, a little bit frazzled, almost like your hair after rubbing on a balloon for a little too long. So, at the advice of Brock and the invitation of Elric, she decides, you know what? It's time to spend a few days in Sylanoris. So, she kind of packs up some shit and she leaves and she goes and she stays in Sylanoris. She ends up staying at the same inn that the group stayed at while they were there the first time. And she ends up staying there for a few days. She stays in Sylanoris, gets to know some of the people, buys from the market, reads in the library, especially reading over Elric's journal. And she just relaxes and tries not to think of Farty McFartpants and the meeting with her mother. So she's been out to Elric's cabin a few times, but he's out dealing with certain angry tiefling lady. So he hasn't been home yet. So she did a little surprises for him, and but most of the time she ended up back in Sylanoris and just doing, I don't know, what do people do to relax? I don't relax. But now it's the day of the baking festival. I should have asked why this happens, but I didn't.
That's just a yearly thing.
Okay. It's just a
Yeah.
yearly thing they do to distract from the fact that life is finite and we're all dying. So
Accurate.
so Shanti wakes up in the inn and she goes downstairs and she sits at the bar and she orders some breakfast. She's not dressed in her usual wandering pool garb. She's dressed in very simple cotton clothing. It's like some soft yellows and browns, but her hair is still braided in that way that she does with the gold in it for the components. So she sits down in front of the bartender and she gives him a small wave and she just says, "Good morning."
Ah, good morning there. I recognize you from, what's it been? A few weeks now at this point.
Oh, yes. But it's just me this time. No crazy. She kind of waves her hands around her head and just goes, "Just me."
Ah, understandable. Don't mind me while I just pick up a few glasses from the previous guests. So, what can I do for you?
Well, it is the baking festival, so I probably don't want anything too heavy. Maybe just some eggs would be nice?
He gives you a smile. Certainly. How would you like those? Sunny side up, scrambled, enchanted?
She kind of tilts her head and just looks at him. Enchanted?
Without breaking eye contact, he like grabs something beneath the table and like pulls it up, and it's like a handle of alcohol.
She looks at it for a second, and she thinks, and then it's like, no, that's a bad idea. So she kind of shakes her head, and she just goes, "I think sunny side up would be best for everyone."
Certainly. He takes out a cast iron pan, puts a little butter in it, gets it on the fire, starts cracking a few eggs into it.
She kind of watches him for a moment while he's making these eggs. And then she just decides to make a bit of small talk. So she kind of leans forward and she goes, "So who do you think's gonna win the baking competition?"
Ah, it's a close call. Joseph's been up against Gertrude for quite a few years now, but Gertrude keeps on winning with those famous cupcakes.
Shanti kind of like looks a bit interested. She just sits back and she just waits, kind of looking out the window and watching some of the setup go on for the baking festival. And after a few minutes, he finishes them eggs and he sits them down in front of her. And she just starts eating the eggs. And as soon as she's done, she pulls out a few silver pieces and leaves them on the counter before thanking the men and walking outside. Now,
Be sure to come back anytime you feel.
she kind of waves over her shoulder as she leaves, and she starts just walking around the beginnings of the festival. Outside, in the square of Sylanoris, the festival has just finished setting up. So you've got booths and tables for bakers from all over, just coming to show off their goods. Some of them are people from outside of Sylanoris, and they've come to sell, like, stuff that you can use for baking, like pots, pans, other things people use for baking. I burn everything, so you just wander around and look at those. Some people are tasting treats, and others are gossiping over who might be victorious in the competition. And right in the center of the square appears a decent-sized Kenku next to Elric. I don't know how to describe this man. other than tall nature god.
I'll never get used to that whole teleporting thing. It's so much faster than I'm used to. Portals feel better for me. So,
You're going to have to get used to it.
yeah, that's true. So, Kara, what were you saying about...
So in my insight to other worlds, I discovered a new sort of food.
Oh? Does it have to do with the cheese you keep on bringing up?
Evidently. They hate pineapple on it, so I'm going to put pineapple on it.
Huh.
Yes, it has a lot to do with cheese.
Alright. It's been a while since I've even heard of pineapple. Oh, hopefully it goes well. Anyway, are we able to see Shanti from where we are?
You're able to see a large crowd of people that are kind of mulling through the booths. So, do a perception check for me.
I got a big old 4.
Those are people. Those are certainly people.
Well, another crowded festival again.
I got an 820.
And that
Nat 20.
Damn. Let me think. Do you have any modifiers for that, or is it just 20?
It's a modifier 10, so it's 30.
Damn. Okay. While Elric definitely sees people, Kara can immediately hone in that, I'd say, several yards back, she can spot, like, a shine of gold kind of nestled amongst black hair.
Girlfriend is over there.
Elric squints. Oh yeah, there she is. You know, she has a name, Kara. It's Shanti.
Santi.
Yeah, close enough. Let's go say hi to her.
You walk over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shanti.
Oh! Do you do that? Do you do that, Mars?
Yes.
Okay. So as you walk over to Shanti, you can see she's kind of looking at this one woman's table who has made some rather sweet-smelling oatmeal raisin cookies, and Shanti's kind of nibbling on one while the woman kind of rambles away at her, talking about,
Yes, this is the recipe that my daughter made, and she loves this recipe so much. Oh, but she's off at university right now. Have you ever seen the university in Bestia?
And Shanti just kind of nods. And as as Kara does the imitation of Elric, Shanti kind of like jumped and turns and just.
Track in uni.
I'm never going to get used to that. Hello.
Hey, Shanti. How have you been?
She removes the cookie from her mouth, and she just kind of shrugs, and she's like, much better these past few days, although I would appreciate not getting a heart attack every time Kara shows up.
Yeah, she's been doing that sort of thing a lot. She seems to have gone
Really?
around pretty attached to
He
me.
abandoned me and I had an existential crisis.
Shanti kind of makes an odd look between the two of you.
It was when I had to teleport to help you with, him.
Shanti kind of gives like a nod and is just like,
I put a bunch of people into a maze.
You did?
Yeah.
You did what?
I came back after the fact, but it seemed pretty strange when I got there.
I have a feeling that this is probably a much longer story that probably shouldn't be spoken about in the open, so she turns around and she gives a small bow to the woman, and she puts a few copper pieces in this woman's little tip jar and picks up 2 more cookies and hands them both to you before waving you to follow her away from the massive crowd of people.
I follow. Come on, Connor.
Let's go.
We've got a competition to win.
She kind of leads you away from the crowd of people and
Pizza.
towards closer to the outskirts of the square, where there's this huge stage set up with ovens and counters and a nice little wooden table with 3 chairs behind it. And she kind of stops in front of it and just turns and looks at the both of you and goes, "Is anyone dead?"
On the inside or like actually dead?
She kind of chuckles and shakes her head and just goes, "You know what?
I think I tortured them mentally.
Kara, you genuinely frighten me sometimes."
Elric puts his hand on Kara's head and like gives a pat. It's just like we might have to work on that a little bit.
Probably. That's, Did you mean to torture them? Mentally?
No internet in it.
Oh, you know what? I still don't understand that very well, so maybe I should have had those eggs enchanted this morning. And she kind of rubs at her temple, and as she's muttering to herself, you hear a voice from behind Elric, and you just hear this,
Oh, Joseph, is that you?
Oh, God damn it. You see, like, Elric's face is, like, scrunched and so much more serious. He, like, turns and becomes more pleasant and just goes, Gertrude, it's so nice to see you. How have you been?
Oh, just making my famous cupcakes as usual. Still overcooking your cakes?
Well, I'm cooking them the same way I taught your grandfather to bake. Maybe I should have taught your mother not to cheat.
Gertrude kind of narrows her eyes at you, but she keeps that fake dance mom smile on her face. And she kind of tilts her head a little bit and just goes,
Oh, then she should have taught you how to win a competition, since you'll need to cheat to win.
Best of luck. You'll need it this year, Gertrude.
She kind of waves at you like one of those annoying socialite waves with the fingers and the bent hand, and she just walks away to go talk to somebody else on the other side of the festival. Fuck you.
Ulrika reaches over to Car and like turns her away from Gertrude to not have her pointing at her as she says that.
Yeah, I know, Kara, don't worry. Because this year, I'm gonna rub it in Gertrude's face. Gonna win.
Shanti kept her head kind of in the direction of
I am going to
Gertrude.
show them all pizza.
Yeah, and then you'll do that. Go team.
And Shanti looked at her, and then she looked back to them, looked back at Gertrude, and then just went, so many things just happened in quick succession. Okay, first of all, I don't like her. That was rude. Second,
Yep.
What? What is pizza?
Good question. Kara, do you want to clarify? I still don't really
You will love it.
Is it a baked good? Is it sweet? Salty? What?
It's bread sauce, cheese, and a bunch of toppings.
All right, I guess.
How's all that going to balance on top of a loaf of bread, especially with a whole pineapple on top of it?
Wait, what's a pineapple?
Oh, it's this fruit.
No,
that's
it's
kind
not
of-
really bread. You will see.
Oh, it's this fruit that's kind of like prickly. They grow on the ground. It's another tropical fruit. I've only seen them a few times.
Oh, okay. Sure. Shanti
Anyway.
just kind of looks really confused for a moment before you hear the lovely trill of a horn go doot 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 doot. Probably something better than that, but there's a man
Yeah.
now standing on the stage behind you, and he shouts out to the crowd.
Come one, come all! The Sylanoris Baking Competition is about to begin!
People start to move their way from the festival over to the stage, and you see Gertrude walk up the little stairs up onto the stage, and you see these other two guys. They just look really nervous. Walk up onto the stage as well.
Elric cracks his fingers.
It's like, all right, I can do this. Wish me luck, Shanti.
Shanti kind of puts her hands together for a second, and then she kind of smirks before she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and she has to go up on her tiptoes to do it because the bitch is short. And she comes back down and looks at him and just goes, "Good luck."
He gives her a smile, and he goes onto that stage with all the strut and poise of a Joestar, approaching Dio.
And what does Kara do? Does she follow him? Does
Team
she...
cheese.
Team cheese. Oh, so I'm gonna assume Kara goes up on that stage as well, and the guy that had made the announcement kind of maneuvers everyone into their little cooking stations, and there's 5 ovens, so they each get one little station, and you can see underneath the counters you have some ingredients there that have been brought over by people, and you just see a bit of bananas sitting on the counter underneath Elric's station.
Kara has some in the pizza oven. She has made a pizza oven.
Hell yeah.
Just
you
morphs it to be unique.
The guy kind of looks at Kara for a second, looks at the oven, and just goes, "I don't get paid enough to give a shit. All right, let's start this competition!" And he turns around, and the people in the crowd, they clap their hands and they cheer. And he says,
Now, before we introduce our contestants, let's introduce our judges.
and he introduces 3 people that kind of come up and they bow to the crowd, and then they sit at their table. And one of them is this older bakery owner in Sylanoris.
Oh my gosh, that guy looks like Guy Fieri.
Another guy is this spiky-haired dude who gives finger guns to the crowd, and he's got this big old personality, and his chef's hat has a little flame embroidered on it. And he sits down and he kind of puts his hands behind his back like he's too cool for school. And then there's the third guy who's just this blonde, serious-looking guy, and he just nods to the crowd, and he goes and he sits by Mr. Flame Man.
Is Gordon Ramsay.
Damn
That was
it,
my guess.
she figured it out! Fuck! So, All the judges sit down, and the guy turns around and he goes, "And our contestants, we have Joseph!" And he points to Elric.
I
What
lift
do
my
you-
hands in the air and like, yeah, that's right.
You hear some people kind of cheer for Joseph, and especially the library guy who's seen him a bunch. You see him kind of jumping around. And then he goes, "And we have returning champion, Gertrude!" And you see some of Gertrude's family kind of cheering, and you see some other people cheering, but they're not as, like, enthusiastic as they were about Joseph, because, let's be honest, Gertrude's kind of a bitch. And then the guy steps past him and goes, "A new contestant this year." And he leans into Kara and he goes, "I didn't get your name."
Your name is Kara.
Kara! And he just kind of waves and... The entire crowd stares at Kara with wide eyes. And you can see Shanti in the front row kind of like put her face in her hands and just rub at the sides of her face going, "Oh,
Hocus
Jesus."
crocus.
And the guy kind of just nods and slowly backs away from Kara and moves on to the next two people. We also have a returning competitor, Bob!
Hello, this is your former president.
And he just turns and he looks at Kara and he goes, "Oi, it's not your turn anymore." And he moves on to the last guy. And
Barack
finally,
Obama.
Shut it, you. And finally, another new contestant this year. This is Emily. And you hear a few people cheering for her, look like her family. And the guy kind of goes, "All right. Now, for those of you who are new here, here are the rules. You get 2 hours to bake your finest dish. And after the 2 hours, everything stops, so you better be done. And then we let the judges taste your creations. And whoever the judges like most wins. But don't get discouraged if you don't win. We have 2 other awards. The Innovator Award, which is someone who does something so new we can't possibly ignore it. And we have the You Tried Award, which is this. And he kind of gestures to this little piece of yellow paper on the table, and it just says, "You tried." It's for those who we really wanted to
Is it a
make
crooked
sure you
star?
come back. Yes. It's in the shape of a really shitty star. Like, clearly, some guy's kid made this. Probably the guy that's announcing everything. So, are you ready, contestants?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Oh, I'm perfectly ready. Ready to win. And you hear some of Gertrude's family in the audience go, They all have a really annoying laugh like a bird, but not like a cool bird like Kara, like a shitty bird, like a seagull.
There is a tiny carrot inside of Grocer's hair.
Gertrude's hair.
The guy goes, "All right, get ready, get set and a half, go!" And the horn blows off again, and everybody starts cooking.
All right. First, gotta add the butter, cheese, cream cheese, and mix it in with all this sugar.
I was concerned for a second you were about to put cheddar in the bread.
No, cream cheese.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
So Elric starts mixing together those ingredients and cracks 2 eggs into a bowl and mixes those together with it to make it a little more liquidy. Then after he's finished making that in another bowl, he adds like some flour, some these 2 other powders that seem like smaller, and what looks to be some kind of yeast. And then he whips out 2 bananas and he peels them right there.
Look
and
at
then
this,
he's just-
folks. Returning competitor Joseph has brought a new ingredient to the mix. Wow! And you hear some people in the crowd go, "Ooh."
And with the banana peel, he like tosses it to the side, not expecting that to cause any future problems whatsoever. Just a banana peel on the ground, no big deal. And
Kara, what are you doing?
Have you seen the movie Bruce Almighty?
Yes, I love that movie.
Do you remember the scene where Steve Carell is reading the teleprompter?
Yes, I do remember that. The blah 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 blah. Yes.
Gertrude is looking at a family. Hello, my name is Gertrude and I hate elves. I am a racist.
She's going, hello, my name is Gertrude and I hate elves. I'm a racist. Oh my lord. What on earth just happened? Oh my god. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, I'm gonna start baking, and she starts talking while she's baking, like she's the host of some Food Network television show. And she is just so confident in herself while she is doing this. And while she's doing that, underneath Elric's counter, a tiny little hand creeps out and pushes the banana peel closer to Elric's feet. Just a nudge. Every once in a while, just a little nudge.
Oh no.
can I roll a perception check? Do I
yes.
notice this?
Roll a perception check.
Oh no. I rolled a 2.
Ain't nothing wrong there. Banana peel just moving by itself must be slippery.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
A child-sized Kara
What trouble
appears next to the kid.
could one banana peel do?
What kid? What kid, Mars? I haven't said anything about a kid. Can Kara roll a perception check to see if she notices the hand in someone else's station? You got a +10, so you're probably gonna see him anyway.
Yeah.
22.
22. Yeah, saw that one coming. The little Kara in Gertrude's hair kind of turns and looks down towards the floor of Elric's station, and that little Kara relays to the big Kara that there is indeed a tiny child-sized something underneath Elric's counter space.
Hey kid, do you want to see a maze?
Oh god.
There's this little kid that's one of those stereotypical you got games on your phone kids. He's got chubby cheeks, he's got a little snot bubble in his nose, and he just looks like a shit. Just like one of those kids in the kindergarten classroom that keeps picking on your knee so you want to punt him, but you can't because he's a kid. And he just looks at the little Kara, and he's got these beady little eyes, and he narrows them, and he just goes,
Oi, get out of here. I'm working.
Takes him to the Shadow Realm.
I will send you to the Shadow Realm.
I don't even know what that is.
and he sticks his tongue out at Kara, and he
Goodbye,
tries
kid.
to... Oh no, do you actually teleport this child to the Shadow Realm?
Yes.
Oh my god. Please, do me a favor, roll... I guess that would be an Arcana check?
Let's see who's gonna win this check. The
26.
level 0 commoner child, or
level
the
0
god of
commoner
mischief.
child, who is definitely not a fucking caster at all. If anything, this child is a fucking rogue. Hold on. You said 26, Mars? Let me just roll something for this child. I don't...
26.
Yeah, he rolled a 6, so I'm just gonna... Yeah, Kara, the little Kara, the child-sized Kara, touches him on the shoulder, and immediately the child, like, swirls out of existence, and there's just this little... And the kid's gone. The kid's in the Shadow Realm. This child is gone.
Got you, brother.
She just cast Brazil on him.
It sent the kid to the Shadow Realm. Okay, that happened. So, the tiny child-sized Kara disappears, and big Kara looks very pleased with herself as she's making this wonderful pineapple pizza. As the competition goes on, everything seems to be fine. How's Elric doing? Let's check in with him.
All right, so the next step is he takes those bananas and he kind of like mushes them up. He seems a little confused when he's looking at them, like he's not quite sure if they should be dice or
Does
something.
Elric notice that the Kara sent this kid to the Doom Dimension?
Good question. Make another perception check.
He rolled a 3.
You heard a little and just assumed it was a bubble in the batter.
Word. Nothing is out of the ordinary here. He mushes up some bananas to make them more like a paste, and is a little surprised by how they kind of like mush up into less of a solid than they were in before. It's a little weird because no like water was added to them, but whatever. He puts that into the liquid, stirs it around, makes it all thick, and then pours all the dry ingredients into the wet ones and starts like mushing it up together.
Do me a favor. Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
He got an 8 plus, I think his dex modifier is only like a 1, so he got a 9.
As you're doing all this, you take a step back, and your foot steps onto a banana peel.
Oh
and
no.
you slip a little bit. You feel the floor kind of give underneath you, and you slide a little bit. However, you're able to catch yourself from completely falling on your ass by grabbing the edge of the counter. And as you look under, as your eyes are kind of like, holy shit, and they're kind of just facing forward like, I can't believe I just caught myself. Holy crap, my soul left my body for a second. You see on your shelves that there's this little bag full of these, what look to be square brown pieces, with a little note kind of tied onto the bag.
Oh? I ignore it completely and get back to what I was doing. No, just kidding. I grab
Damn.
it.
On the note, you see this kind of shaky... It looks like almost a child's handwriting, but the more you read it, you're like, oh, this isn't a child. This is the blind girlfriend. And it appears that Shanti had, at some point when the stage was being set up, put a bag of dark chocolate pieces on his shelf. And the note just reads, just thought if you wanted to add something special.
Great thinking, Shanti. This is perfect. We'll contrast the taste of this banana and the bread so perfectly. Oh,
Because
one.
chocolate banana bread is the best.
And so he opens the bag and takes out some of the bits and starts mixing them in with the dough.
Hell yeah. What's how's Kara doing? What is she causing any more mischief, or is she so intensely focused on pineapple pizza?
Gertrude looks back at our family.
Gertrude looks back at her family as she's spooning the cupcake batter into little cupcake tins, little tin cupcake tins that have been you could see on the handles that she has like a family crest in it. Like this woman is clearly up her own ass. And she turns and she's like, and now I'm gonna, and her eyes fix on her family. And she just goes, I wish I had aborted you all. And then she slaps her hand over her mouth and goes, oh my god. I don't know what's happening to me. Something must have been in my food. And she quits talking and just focuses on her baking at this point because she's not having that happen again.
Elric, like, stops himself from laughing.
Looks like
out
Grandma's
loud.
going to the old folks' home.
Yeah, you said it, Gara.
You see Gertrude kind of shoot daggers at the both of you with her eyes. She's just like glaring before making the typical Karen huffy noise and turning back to her cupcakes.
That's the power of the gods, bitch.
You see Shanti in the front row. You see one of her ears kind of wiggle a little bit, and she has to like turn around and stifle her laughter. Because, damn brother, that shit's funny. So after about another hour and a half, the guy comes back out onto stage with his little megaphone, and he goes, all right, we have 30 minutes left. 30 minutes, bakers. Make your final adjustments and plate your delicious creations. And he walks backstage, and you can see him kind of, as he walks backstage, he pulls out a flask and he just takes a chug of it before sticking it back in his pocket.
Oh, he's having a bad day. I'm gonna put this into just one big bunt pan instead of like smaller ones. So Elric just pours out all the dough into one pan after like buttering the edges, and then he throws that whole thing into the oven.
With only 30 minutes left, I'm impressed, sir.
Yeah.
Kara, what are you doing?
This is actually cutting it close because this recipe takes 25
So
minutes.
Kara
to cook.
ended up making 3 different pizzas. She made a large pepperoni and sausage, then a large Canadian bacon and pineapple, and then a large combination pizza.
Man, this makes me really want pizza.
It was like all the vegetables and meat and stuff.
Ah, supreme. I see. You are a man of culture
Oh.
as well.
Oh, so the bread was flat this whole
And
time.
then Gertrude
Oh no, here we go.
turns to Elric.
Oh, it turns to
no.
Gertrude.
Gertrude's been watching Elric for a little bit while her cupcakes sit and cool off, because you can't ice cupcakes before they're cool. That's a cooking tip, friends. And she's just watching him with narrowed eyes. She opens her mouth to say something snarky, but then you can see the same kind of thing that happened when she wished abortion on her family. She kind of snaps her head almost a little bit to the side of Elric, like she's not even focused on him, and she just says, "Oh, I'm really in love with you, Elric. I'm a whore, just like my mother." And then she stops and she snaps out of it, and she just... And she sees Shanti at the front row, just head in hands again, trying to stifle a laughter and feel exasperated at the same time, because she's clued into what's going on.
I call over to her.
Didn't know you had these feelings for me, Gertrude. A little strange, seeing how I'm older than your grandfather.
You hear Shanti just let out one of the similar laughs that she had when he insulted Oleron, one of those. And you see Gertrude just get so angry, and she chucks an egg at him. Make a dexterity saving.
Yoink. 11 plus 1, does a 12 make it?
A 12 makes it. You duck to the side just in time for the egg to whiz by your shoulder. The egg flies past your shoulder, and it ends up hitting the blonde...
Oh no, does the 8th hit Barack Obama?
No, the egg ends up hitting the blonde, stoic judge directly in the face and splattering egg all over him. And he just looks angry. And he just puts his hand over his face, wipes it off, and glares at Gertrude, making it his life's mission to ruin her. And you can see the old woman just gulp and turn away and just start icing her cupcakes a little bit too soon.
It's all coming together.
Y'all do anything? You got any more tricks up your sleeve, Kara?
Really, all I can do is just wait for the banana bread to finish cooking, then take it out and let it cool.
You hear the guy come back onto stage. 10
Kara decides that
minutes!
she has done enough, and she is very pleased with herself.
She's just gonna fucking sit on the counter? Like a heathen?
I guess so. Just roost
right.
there next
Yes.
to the pizzas.
You see Kara kind of climb up onto the counter. She like pulls her knees up very, very animatedly. She climbs up onto the counter, kind of wiggles her butt, and just sits down, hands folded in her lap, staring
Let me
happily.
tell you all a story
Oh boy. The judges all turn to look at Kara, and
about a guy, a president.
they all stare at
He
her.
was a great guy. His name was Barack Obama. And he just wanted to do his very best.
The blonde, stoic judge kind of cocks an
And then
eyebrow.
his best friend named Joe killed him.
One of the one lady judge kind of leans forward and goes, "Ooh, how'd he die?"
Then it turned out that Joe had dementia
Oh no!
and only killed Barack Obama because the old witch Nancy Pelosi told him to.
Oh, that's horrible!
God.
Did they
He was a
begin?
great man.
He sounds like a great man.
See this young woman.
I
judge
miss him
just
every day.
enamored by him.
She's like, oh, I bet you do. What a touching story.
And the young woman judge just kind of dabs at her eyes, and Shanti's standing in the front row looking at Elric with, like, her hand out gesturing to Kara, just like, what the fuck?
Elric, like, mouths the words, like,
I know. She keeps talking about him.
So finally the guy comes back on, he's like, 5 minutes, everyone! Make sure to plate your creations! And he does the same thing he did, he just walks back, takes another swig.
That guy's drinking a lot more than I remember him drinking. Anyway, time to take this out of the oven.
Elric reaches into the oven, takes out that whole loaf now that it's all done, gives a little test to see how it's doing on the inside, test out the moisture. And then once the toothpick isn't only has like one little clump on it, he like removes the loaf and lets it sit on a rack and chill for the remaining 5 minutes.
You see Gertrude finishing up icing her cupcakes with this glare on her face. The other two are finishing up. Looks like one made a nice strawberry-looking cake. It's got strawberries on it, some white frosting, and it seems like the other girl, she made some nice-looking cookies that kind of smell a little cinnamony. And so there's a little bit of cinnamon in the air, but you can't really tell if it's her cookies or if it's somebody else's because God, the air just smells.
To plate my banana bread,
My brother, I have a confession.
I'm gonna slice it like a domino effect and leave half the loaf intact.
Smart thinking. Yes, Mars, what were you doing?
My brother, I have a confession.
Who is she talking to?
What is it, Kara?
I know you told me not to, but I sent the child to the Doom Dimension.
He looks over his shoulder. He like leans in.
You sent a child to the Doom. What are you talking about, Kara?
There was a little child trying to sabotage you and they were very rude. So I just snapped them out of existence.
What? Bring them back immediately. Just don't... You can't just send a child to the Doom Dimension.
Okay, fine. The child is back and very traumatized.
I
Do
probably guessed.
me a favor, Mars. Just roll me a d20 and tell me what number you get.
Okay. A1.
Perfect. You, with Kara kind of, when she's like, fine, whatever. She kind of like flaps her wings a bit at him to like brush him off, and you kind of rub your hands together and you snap your fingers, and the child, he does reappear, although there's a stain in the front of his pants, and he's not underneath the counter anymore. The child has reappeared on top of one of the trees in the square. One of the branches has kind of nicked onto the back of his shirt, so he's just hanging there, piss pants out for the world to see.
Oh my god.
Alright, I guess that's better than being in the Doom Dimension.
Gertrude, isn't that your grandson?
Gertrude kind of turns and looks at the tray and just goes, "Oh my god! Tommy!" And one of the women in Gertrude's family kind of gasps and runs over and starts gathering guards to try and get her grandson down. Shanti from the front row looks at Kara and just cocks an eyebrow and is just like... That it's the same look that your mom gives you when you're acting up in the grocery store.
Just the grocery store, so specific.
Listen, we don't talk about what happened inside the Walmart. Kara, you gonna react at all?
Deciding which sound.
She's kind of just holding back a laugh.
Shanti sighs and rubs her
Oh
temples.
no, oh no.
Oh no?
Anyways.
Oh no! Anyways. Shanti kind of shakes her head and rubs her temples and is just like, I should lock this child in a box. That is the exact thought going through her head at the moment. And finally the guy comes back out and he kind of gathers the crowd and he goes, 3, 2, 1, drop everything! Drop it all! It's over! And you hear the guy from the other side go, "Oh, dang it." And most everybody has finished plating their stuff, except for that one guy. It looks like he kind of left off a little sprig of berries that he had and he wanted to put on his cake. The guy kind of looks around at everybody's creation and just goes, "Oh, these look wonderful. Let's start off the same way we began this thing. Joseph, show the judges your, looks like bread. So bread, show me your bread."
Well, I'm glad you asked. This is a recipe of my own invention. I call it banana bread. Makes use of a exotic fruit called bananas to soften the mixture. It's a pretty close to cookie dough texture before it gets added, but I feel like this really ties it together, keeps all the moisture.
I accidentally just dropped a bag of chocolates. Oops.
The
judges.
I added the chocolate chips as an accent to it.
You see the judges all kind of nod their heads, and they all start chewing on the slices of bread that you served them. And the young female judge kind of just, she makes a wonderful noise. And she puts her hands onto her cheeks, and she says like, "Oh my lord, this is delicious. I've never tasted anything like this in my life. Oh, the bananas and the chocolate, just, oh, it's perfect. Oh my goodness. Oh, what about you?" And she just taps the Guy Fury looking judge on the shoulder, and he just goes, "Whoa, dude, this stuff is so good. Oh my lord, like I've never, like, oh, this crust on it is perfect. And like, it's not even like normal bread. It didn't sit out for hours. No, you just made it like this. But it's so good. I love it, man. I love it." And you see the blonde, stoic judge kind of nodding his head a little bit, taking in the flavors. He almost looks like he's studying something for a second. He goes, "Oh, the flavors, I went Australian. Flavor is delicious. You did a very good job with the flavor. The crust is nice and tough, but it's not tough enough to make it unenjoyable. I would have recommended maybe sprinkling some of the chocolate on top, but other than that, you did very well. Good job, son." And he kind of taps the table.
Thank you, judges.
You see Gertrude kind of watching you as you walk back to your station. Do you do
I
anything?
smile back at her, like that shit-eating grin.
Nice. All right, and next up we have Gertrude. And Gertrude picks up her plate of cupcakes and just pompously walks. You know that one Disney walk? I can't remember which Disney movie it was, but it was with the geese and their little butts were bouncing as they walked.
Oh, it's what was that? Aristocats.
Yeah, it's Aristocats. So she looks like one of the geese that were walking, and she just sets the cupcakes down on the table. And she goes, "This is my special cupcake recipe. It's the same as it always has been, except it's not. This year I decided to try something totally different with a different flavor and a different method of icing, and I hope you love it." And she just stands there and she just clasps her hands in front of her and she has the dance mom smile. And the judges start eating the cupcakes, and the woman goes, "Oh, yes, these are very good. I really enjoy your cupcakes every time I'm in here. They're very delicious. Although, when did you start icing them?" And Gertrude kind of looks a little like, "Oh, shit. Oh, well, I got a little distracted. Something must be wrong with my brain. I need to go see a healer or something. But, I ice them, at the same time I usually do. Is there something wrong?" Oh, no. I was just curious. What about you?" And she turns to the judge again, and the guy goes, "Dude, I love your cupcakes every time we come in." Oh no. Mars? What are you doing? What is Mars doing?
Oh.
My God. Alright, Mars, interrupting the Guy Fury looking judge, Gertrude turns on him with that same look on her face and just goes, "I want to eat your hair. And she clasps her hands over her mouth again. And before the Guy Fury judge can respond to that, the blonde, stoic judge just goes, "You have been absolutely repulsive this entire competition. Are you sure you're okay to continue, ma'am?" And she just nods her head and doesn't even say anything. And he just huffs and sits back down and just goes, "Then I'd suggest keeping it quiet." And Guy Fury is like, I mean, I was just gonna say I love your cupcakes. Like, I love them every year. Yeah, I'll be really honest here, man. I'm not sure I like the new flavor. You do, like, I don't know if it's new or something. Forden, do you want to, like, elaborate? And the blonde judge just glares at her and is just like, "Happily. These cupcakes they aren't cooked right. They're not cooked enough. They're dry and yet they're wet, and your icing is just all over the place. What are you?" And she just kind of, like, gulps a little bit and just takes her plate of cupcakes and walks back to her station, not even gonna just question what just happened. You hear, as she's walking away, she just goes, "An idiot sandwich!" And she just looks just defeated as she goes back to her station. The guy is staring, the announcer, he's just staring at everything that just happened going, "Well, this is new, Alright, you, Kenku, come on, show us, is that even a baked good? What is this?"
Judges Rachel Ray, Guy Fieri, and Gordon Ramsay. I bring to you 3 different pizzas: a pepperoni and sausage pizza, a supreme pizza, and a Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza.
You see the woman just kind of look at it, just a little confused. She's just like,
Ma'am, what is this dish?"
Is a pizza.
I heard you, but, like, what is pizza? Like, this is a baking competition. You know that, right?
Saint bread, it is on bread.
I mean, you're right, and it was in an oven, so I guess it counts. So what's on them? Like, you said stuff.
So it depends on the pizza, but the basis of a pizza is bread, tomato sauce, cheese, and some sort of toppings, like usually a meat and some vegetable. But this one that I got, pepperoni and sausage, and this one is Canadian bacon and pineapple, and the other one is a lot of different stuff.
But what pine what?
Pineapple.
Okay. And why did you put this pineapple on it? Like, is it required? Because I don't see it on the other 2.
Is the beauty of pizza is you can put pretty much anything that works with it on it.
all the judges kind of nod their heads and they make like
It is called a topping for a reason, but I have decided that this tomato sauce and cheese is required.
Okay.
all right. And you see the judges kind of like nod and they start to tentatively eat the pizza. Like the blonde one kind of like bites it with his teeth before letting like any other part of his mouth touch it. And the woman just, she looks a little scared to eat it, but she eats it. And the Guy Fury looking guy tasted it and then shoveled his whole slice into his mouth, just impressed. And he speaks up before the female can start speaking. Dude, oh my god, I love this. This is a fucking amazing. Holy crap. Can I get another one of those slices?
Take as much as you want, Guy Fieri.
I don't know why she keeps calling me that. My name's Dude. And so he grabs another slice and starts eating it. And the female goes,
you know what? I was a little afraid I wasn't gonna like this. You know, I've never seen this before, and I don't even know what a pineapple is. But then I ate it, and it's, you know, I was a little surprised at the sweetness, but you know, it's not bad.
And the blonde stoic judge just kind of nods and goes, yeah, I wasn't expecting it. It was a bit odd at first, but as I kept chewing, it made sense. you know what? I like this. The consistency of this bread, it's very good. It's very interesting. I'd like to talk to you a bit later and see if maybe we could work something out with this recipe or something. This is very interesting.
Thank you, chef.
He kind of like looks impressed that you know to say that, and he just nods at you. You gonna walk away now?
Buddy gets pizza, everybody gets pizza for everybody.
You hear some of the people in the crowd just go, okay, and so they kind of like clap, and they're just like, all right, pizza. And as you walk away, the guy calls up the next two, and turns out the guy messed up part
Like
of his
50
cake.
different type of pizzas are now there.
You see a lot of the younger people kind of like wander over towards this random pile of pizzas that's now appeared, and they start kind of grazing. But a good chunk of the older people have stayed to watch the end of the judging session. And the guy goes up and gives his little strawberry cake, and turns out he kind of messed it up a little bit. Like some of the inside of the cake is a bit too gooey, and some of the strawberries were a little bit too old, and he kind of walks away defeated. And the last girl, Emily, she walks up and she shows the judges her cookies, and they eat them, and they're okay. They're pretty good. They're not bad, but they're cookies. Like, it's kind of hard to fuck up a cookie. And finally, the judges all thank the contestants, and they say,
We're gonna go deliberate, and we'll be back within 15 minutes.
and the contestants start to kind of file off the stage, and they're gonna wait for the announcements, the winnings. What do you do?
I might just. I think I'll just go talk to Shanti in the meantime.
We see Shanti kind of looking off a little bit past the town square, and she's watching this,
Brother, do you think that child is entitled to financial compensation?
After what you did, Kara, they might be.
Speaking of the child, you see Shanti's
Fair enough.
been watching the mom off on the edge of the square, scolding her kid, and the kid is kind of sniffling, and he looks like he's been thoroughly told off. And he's still got his piss pants on.
Ah, good.
He needs a good lawyer.
Shanti kind of turns and looks at Kara and is just like, why a lawyer?
Yeah, Kara, why a lawyer?
Because he might be entitled to financial compensation.
Shanti kind of tilts her head and then looks to Elric and is like, do you understand a thing that Kara says?
Not even slightly, but she's a lot of fun. She's got a lot of energy.
That's true. He kind of looks at Kara, and Shanti just gently pats her on the head and is just like,
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with mesothelioma?
what in the god's name is mesothelioma?
I haven't the slightest idea. Must be some sort of illness.
Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure to asbestos and Navy shipyards, mill heating, construction, or the automotive industries.
I'm not sure what an automotive industry is, but you know what? I don't think she's making that up. That one may be a job for the healers.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us, Kara. Elric gives Kara a pat on the head.
You know, I'm just saying we should probably keep her away from the square in Bestia. There are people that would throw her in a mental asylum for talking like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Someday I will kick in the door of a man named Makeshift.
Named Makeshift?
What an odd name.
It's literally an adjective. Why
Exactly.
would they name themselves after an adjective?
He is a square.
Like a nerd? I've heard that term before.
Is this like a northerner thing? I've never heard this before.
He is an orange square in a black void and he controls everything. I will take control from him.
I'm just going to assume that was a joke.
Think that might be...
He is responsible for all the shit that has gone down.
Oh,
Well,
damn.
tell him he's an asshole.
And I will bring them to you and we will beat him up.
I like the sound of
Good.
this.
And before the conversation could get any weirder, the guy comes back out on stage with all three judges, and they're all holding like a medal and a trophy and things like that. And it's like, okay, folks, it's time to announce the winners of the yearly Sylanoris Baking Competition. And you see a bunch of people come back over from the pizzas, and they all clap. Half of them have pizza slices hanging out of their mouth. They're really enjoying this. And the first judge steps forward, and it's the blonde, stoic judge, and he's like, "We saw a lot of great dishes today, and we're very excited to announce the second place winner of the Sylanoris Baking Competition is Miss Emily." And you see the little woman with her cookies. She just kind of looks very happy with herself, and she hopples up on stage, and she kind of bends her head down, and the blonde judge puts a medal around her neck and shakes her hand. The other judges shake her hand, and she kind of steps off to the side. All right, and now we're gonna announce the Innovator Award. This pretty obvious as to who this award is gonna go to. But Miss Cara for her invention of pizza. And everybody starts clapping and cheering, like especially the people that have got pizza in their mouths.
Great work, Kara.
I will be starting a pizza restaurant in Sylanoris.
You hear a lot of
do
people
pretty
go,
well.
"Fuck yeah!" You gonna go up there and accept your
Pizza for the world.
your little plaque?
Yes, she accepts the award.
All the judges shake your hand, and you're handed a little wooden plaque with this metal inlay that says Innovator Award, and they hand that to you, and the announcer kind of gently shuffles you off to the side to stand next to Emily, and the blonde judge brings out this white envelope and holds it, and he says, "I know it was a tough decision this year for first place, but I think me and my fellow judges can agree that the person that wants this definitely deserves it." And he unfolds the white card, and he just goes, "And the winner of the Sylanoris Baking Competition is Joseph for his banana bread."
Yeah!
People start fucking cheering, and they're just going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." Like a bunch of guys are just
Is my brother.
they're just doing it. And
That's my
Gertrude
brother
looks-
right there.
She looks pissed. She kicks over like this little cup that's been left on the floor and just storms out of the square, pissed as hell.
I high five a bunch of people as I go up the stairs, and I jog up those stairs quickly, and I readily accept this award.
All the judges they shake your hand and they congratulate you, and they give you the trophy, and they give everyone a little time to congratulate you before the announcer steps back up, and he goes, "And that's the competition, folks. What a wonderful turnout we had this year." I just hit my microphone. I'm so sorry. "And that's the
Oof.
competition, folks. What a wonderful turnout we had this year. We hope to see you again next year for the Sylanoris Baking Competition." And everyone cheers, and they all clap, and he says, "Feel free to enjoy the rest of the festival. It'll go on all night." And people cheer, and they start going back for more pizza as everyone starts to disperse.
Today has been a wonderful day. I can't remember the last time that I actually won against Gertrude.
Dante kind of steps up next to you, and she kind of looks at it, and she goes, "Ah, you used the dark chocolate."
Yeah. In fact, I think that might have been what
That was very entertaining.
what it ended up making me win. Yes, Kara, it was.
Dante looks a little proud of herself, and she's like, "You know, I had a feeling." And she looks a little smug, like you could tell exactly what feeling it was. Bitch had a dream.
Nice. I presume you used, your ability to
Did
see
you
the
all try the
future?
pizza?
Oh, yeah.
She kind of shrugs and she just, I don't know what you're talking about. And she takes a slice of pizza from one of Kara's things and just munches on it with a little smile.
Time for me to make the biggest decision of Elric's lore ever. Does he like pineapple on pizza?
Oh boy.
I'll
There is
roll a
other
D-
type of pizza there.
I'll roll a d20, see if he tries the pineapple on pizza and likes it. If he gets below a 5, I'll say he likes it.
Below a 5. Ouch.
If he got an 8, he's indifferent. He liked it, but it wasn't like he
He
really
would choose
liked
it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say Shanti likes it because I'm a heathen and I like pineapple on pizza. So Shanti liked it. And she kind of puts a hand on Kara's shoulder and she just goes, "This is quite good. I was a little apprehensive, but you know what? I like it."
Canadians are fake, it's just what I call my meat.
I don't even know what a Canadian is. So, good for you.
I'm
Neither
glad.
do I. Time to go hang this award up on my cabin.
You ready to time skip to the cabin?
Yeah.
Cabin, Marcy, you would do a time skip to the cabin?
Time skip the cabin.
So, you all start making your way towards Elric's cabin, and as the sun goes down, it's a very nice evening. The weather's perfect. It's not too cold, not too hot, and you start making your way back towards the cabin, and the sun sets so nicely. It has like a wonderful golden glow over the trees and the grass. And as you approach the cabin, the first thing you actually, you know what? Give me a perception check. I want to see if he even notices.
Yeah, sure.
Because some men don't notice.
He got a 14.
Okay. As you walk towards the cabin, you start to notice in front of the cabin, right in front of the porch, you notice that there's a new bush there, and it looks to have been freshly planted.
Ah, I see you swung by my cabin before I got back.
You turn to look at Shanti, and she's a little bit pink in the cheeks, and just goes, "I thought it could use a little brightening up. Last time we were here, it was and don't take this the wrong way, but it was a little sad."
Yeah, don't worry, I know what you mean. Every time that crumbles to dust, I just build it back even more minimalistically than I did the previous time.
How many times have you built this?
About, I think 8 times? It's hard to keep track.
Why don't you just build it with stone? Stone
Scratches
barely
at his
degrades.
chin.
Because I didn't think of that, and because it's really easy for me to grow wood.
That's what he said.
Does Kara make that joke?
Yes, she does.
I love this bird. Shanti kind of turns
Oh,
on
you,
Kara real
Kara.
quickly and just.
She's right though about the stone.
Never mind. Just she just kind of like rubs her face a little bit. Go hang up the award.
Alright, now where to put it?
He walks right up to his front porch and like looks around at the entrance. Is the award like a piece of paper? Is it a little plaque?
It's a trophy, buddy. You got a whole ass trophy.
Hmm.
It's got a cool little spatula on it.
Nice. Ah, should I just like put it on like the outside, like right on the
top so everybody sees it? I think he'll go inside and he'll just put it on like his desk.
Do me a favor. Roll
Right where you can see
a. Hold on. Let me make sure I get the right one here. Roll a perception check again.
He got a 13.
You notice when you walk in, there's a few things that were in your cabin that were not in there before. There's a nice comfy red rug right on the entrance. There's a comfy little red rug right at the entrance. There's a nice potted plant sitting on the table where he would eat food, and the bed sheets have been replaced, so they're not just a white cotton sheet. They're actually something not fancy or anything, but it's comfy. It's nice, and it's a nice, easy green color on the eyes.
Nice.
He turns over his shoulder.
I like what you've done with the place, Shanti.
He kind of looks a bit relieved, and it's just like, oh, thank God. I thought he would have been upset that I went in there.
And he puts down his trophy on the desk.
Hell yeah. Trophy time.
Ah, where it
Kara
shall
puts
sit,
her award next to his.
it shall be his pride and joy.
Now I can just imagine him sitting there polishing
I will
it.
put this in my pizza restaurant when I get it.
Speaking of which, you should probably strike while the iron's hot. You might want to start looking for properties in Sylanoris.
Yes, didn't that
Fair
one
point.
judge said he wanted to talk to you?
I really want to strangle a square though.
Are you actually going to go hurt somebody, Kara?
Maybe.
You hear Shanti kind of mumble something in Quarry, and she just goes,
Just don't kill anybody if it's not necessary.
If I get him, I will bring him to Elric so Elric can beat him up.
Thanks, Kara, but I might pass on eating him.
Okay, then I will take control for a day while he sits in a corner tied up.
Oh?
better than killing him, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, you should go now before the sun sets too much. Just don't be gone for too long.
Okay, I will go get my pizza restaurant and then tie up the square.
Alright,
Even
see you soon.
the sheep? You hear Shanti just mumbling to herself.
I don't know, I guess you just wrap rope around it.
Here I come, you beers, motherfucker.
After she says that, there's just a little, and then Kara has disappeared into the void. Shanti kind of just shakes her head and leans up against the porch and is just like, I have no words. That is one of the most interesting people I have ever met.
Yeah, she is a bit of a handful. But there's a lot of potential in her. Need to make sure she doesn't do anything too dangerous. She's the reincarnation of Interna, after all. She's one of the most powerful beings alive.
That's what frightens me.
Unironically, IRL, there's been like scratching in my walls, like my neighbors in my ceiling. And I just checked after that knocking noise, but I know that part's a sound effect.
Open the door square.
I'll deal with that some other time.
Do you need to get that? Are you sure?
Nah, door shut. I'll be good.
Okay. I hope a door can keep it out. Where were we? Hold on. Shanti kind of just shakes her head and is just like, never been quite interested in gods, but that one is... She just makes this, like, concerned face for a second, then just shakes her head. Not my circus.
Yeah, she can be a circus and all the clowns inside of it.
You see Shanti kind of shudder for a second. She's like, oh, clowns.
You afraid of them? I've heard there's a few people who are scared of face paint.
Afraid of them? No. I don't like them. They're very loud. She kind of sits on the wooden... She feels behind her for a second and then sits on the wooden steps and looks over kind of the clearing. Look at it, the nice golden glow it casts on everything. Can I ask you something?
Sure. What is it?
She kind of nibbles on one of her fingernails for a second and then holds her hands in her lap and is just like, back in the other place with she kind of grits her teeth for a second and just looks like she really doesn't want to say his name, so she just ends up going with the dickhead. I was curious about something you said.
And what would that be?
When you started beating the shit out of him, you said something about getting rid of this creature. That wasn't just about him, was it?
Oh, he gives off a sigh and
Yeah, it wasn't.
She kind of nods for a second and she scoots over and she just pats the seat beside her.
he smiles and sits down next to her.
Yeah. I was talking about myself. When I looked at him, it just reminded me of what I used to be all those years ago. Just a mindless monster. And quite frankly, I don't know how much of him actually was that. I just remember seeing myself, and then I wanted to get rid of it. The one thing that I could be absolutely certain was a monster in that world. Everything else is so much more complicated. But when I saw my own image, I just felt hatred.
She kind of nods for a second and then she reaches over and she has to like squint her eyes a little bit and she takes his hand and puts both hands on top of his the same way that she did with Sinead and Marilla, and she just kind of looks at him for a second. It's just like, did you know that we will never know exactly what we look like to ourselves?
What do you mean?
Sure, we have mirrors and portraits, but we live with ourselves every single day. And she kind of starts trailing her fingers along the calluses on his hand, doing the exact same thing that she's done to others, trying to map out what exactly everything looks like. And we see all of our flaws and all of our mistakes. It's like looking at a piece of artwork. The more you look at it, the more you work on it, the more you're going to end up hating it. Seen it happen with plenty of the bards that pass through our guild. We see everything wrong with what we are. But the best way to get an accurate and an unbiased look at ourselves is to ask those around us. And she kind of stops moving her fingers and looks at him and she says, "You may see a monster, but I see someone who has done his best with the shit hand he was dealt. Sure, you've made some mistakes along the way, but who hasn't? I know I've made plenty. I don't think you're a monster or a creature needed to be getting rid of."
Thank you, Shanti. Kind of like covers his mouth a bit and rubs his face. That means a lot to me.
She kind of gives him a little smile and just goes, "You don't have to thank me for telling the truth."
And actually, on that subject, do you remember that aura that appeared around Sinead?
She kind of
I
looks back at the clearing and just nods silently.
was the same type of aura that appeared around the Verton. I could have just kept beating Oleron until he was actually dead. But when it came time to decide, for the first time in my life, I felt I made an actually noble decision. I just wanted to help her. I didn't want to see her disappear like Leverton did.
She kind of smiles and scoots a bit closer and just goes,
I don't think that was the first noble decision you've made.
Oh. And what were some other ones that you know of?
he kind of shrugs a little bit and just says,
Marilla's mind is not exactly as quiet as she'd like it to be. Neither are her dreams.
So you've seen memories of me from that far back.
she kind of chuckles and just goes,
Perhaps.
And then he kind of snaps to awareness and realizes, like, oh,
That's right.
wait, would he have known this?
she gets a dream.
Oh,
calls
he did
her.
he did see Merle get paralyzed, though.
Oh, yes. Is Marla doing all right?
She's alright. It's the same type of magic that, paralyzed Brock. Easy reversal.
That's good. Hmm.
You're a good man, you know.
Thank you, Shanti. And you are an even better woman.
She kind of snorts and is just like,
Sure. I try.
Don't worry. You don't have to try too hard with me.
And
she gives him a small smile. She kind of just looks a bit happy, and she looks a lot more relaxed than the last time you saw her. She does not look like she's about to put her foot on the side of a chair again.
And he leans in to give Shanti a kiss.
She reciprocates, and she gives him a kiss as well, and it's a very sweet scene with all the golden hour glow and the nature stuff. And that is indeed the adorable little baking festival one-shot. I hope that everyone enjoyed my foray into DMing that I haven't done in several years.
You did a great job.
No, I... Anyway. We should be back for Rise of Vestia on the 26th of November. So you better be there, or be square, because we're starting the intermission arc, and it's about to get chaotic.
Aw, hell yeah. Also, there's a
Hell
bird
yeah.
trying to break into my room, so I gotta go deal with that. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you should probably go deal with that. Sounds like she's angry. Bye, everybody! Makeshift's gonna go die now.
Yep. See ya.